It's a Monday afternoon and I'm in Ormskirk, March 2024, and there's Clark's shoe shop. I'm Vaughan and this is another video for my YouTube channel, which has over 400 videos on it. And I like to do a bit about local history. So I'm in this alleyway and I'll just read to you what it says on this poster. Yes, you can go past me, go back. I'm getting in people's way, as usual. Patronised by royalty. A long established Ormskirk confectionery business was Files, which was set up in 1732, soon after George II came to the throne. Mrs. Sarah Files was more than likely one of the gingerbread ladies who sold gingerbread outside the old Talbot Inn in Orton Street. This is where the Liverpool to Preston stagecoach stopped to allow its passengers to stretch their legs in the cobbled yard. In 1790, a traveller described the scene. We can vouch for the fabrication of the best gingerbread, for scarcely had we alighted at the Talbot Inn when we were offered half a dozen fair hands together, little packets of gingerbread in the way of purchase. Buy my fine Ormskirk gingerbread. We, in confessing its excellence afterwards at Preston, were told it was a confection of far spread notoriety. So then it goes on to say that Mrs. Files' great-great-granddaughter, I should say, also called Sarah, sold gingerbread to royalty, as seen in this advertisement. So, a bit more there about royalty. And next to that, we've got famous gingerbread ladies. And they tell us about Sally Woods and Esther Catterall. Now that must be a photo of Sally Woods. Some memories of Sally Woods, one of Ormskirk's gingerbread ladies. In the first half of the 20th century, a woman with a shawl and bonnet, wearing a spotlessly clean, well-starched apron to protect her clothes, set out from her home in Mill Street. At her side waddled her pet gander, that's a goose, and the pair made their way to her stall outside Ablett's shoe shop in Moor Street. This was Sally Woods, and on her arm was a basket of freshly baked gingerbread which had been mixed in the kitchen of her house in Mill Street. So it goes on to talk about passageway known as the Monkey's Nest, and the ovens where it was based were in Burscough Street, and so on and so on. And then we've got Esther Catterall. She lived in Station Road. There she is. She lived in Station Road, and with her daughter, Mrs. Della, sold gingerbread at sixpence a packet at Ormskirk railway station. Passengers used to hang out of the train window to buy the famous Ormskirk delicacy. Mrs. Catterall is seen in this photograph in her best feathered bonnet and shawl beside a carriage. We'll drop the camera down then. Beside a carriage, yes, we'll bring the camera down, painted in the livery of the London, Midland and Scottish Railway. After Esther died, her daughter went on selling gingerbread. So there's more there, and we'll just have a look on the other side, because it tells you about, did Queen Elizabeth I invent the gingerbread man? Queen Elizabeth I's fondness for gingerbread was legendary and even employed her own gingerbread maker. This royal gingerbread maker was instructed to created likenesses of visiting guests and ambassadors in gingerbread, and these were presented to her special guests and courtiers. So that's that. And here we have a Tudor gingerbread recipe. Well, I'm not going to read all that. By the way, if you live in Ormskirk or somewhere near, you can come and read this to your heart's content. I was just a bit worried about it being a bit dark in here, but I think you can hear what I'm saying, so you'll get the gist of all this. Between the years 1579 and 1592, there is virtually no record of Shakespeare's whereabouts, but it is thought that he spent some of the time in the Lancashire area. What is known is that he had connections with the Stanley, Hesketh and Latham families. 1580, Shakespeare was possibly a tutor in Horton Tower near Preston. 1585, he had joined a travelling group of players called Lord Strange's Men, and his play Henry VI Part 2 was possibly in the group's repertoire. 1580, Shakespeare believed to have spent 6 months at Rufford Old Hall. Is that really true? Lord Strange's Men in 1587 visited Latham and Knowsley Halls for festive celebrations. In this year there was the Latham Festival of Plays, which may have been organised by Shakespeare. It's all a bit vague, isn't it? 1588, reputed to have appeared at a theatre in Ormskirk and to have played in Rufford Hall. So further down here we have a rather nice picture of a bloke called William Thomas Lewis. Isn't that lovely? Fluttering, harebrained Lewis, the greatest comic mannerist perhaps that ever lived, according to William Hazlitt. Mr. Lewis is an excellent stage figure, not tall but neat and well proportioned. He has a pair of lively eyes and a very pleasing countenance. Covent Garden Mag, 1773. So now, there's something about a theatre over 200 years ago in Ormskirk, behind the Ship Inn in Moor Street. So here's the Ship Inn, here's the map, the Ship Inn in Moor Street. A view of Moor Street showing the Ship Inn halfway down on the right side. So what do we have here? Look at this. Merchant of Venice, Monday evening 1788. Merchant of Venice. It's for the ladies and gentlemen of Ormskirk, to which will be added a celebrated farce called The Midnight Hour. Wow, so right the way back we know about things that happened in theatres in Ormskirk. So you can come and read it all yourself if you live in this area. But this will give you some information, and I hope you've enjoyed the video and you'll want to watch more of my local history videos coming up soon.